Now, if where we're coming from, it doesn't make sense to get to this B, and it makes sense to be somewhere else, like here, then we might want to do that, right? And that gets us to our leading tone. It opens out, and it still gives us our nice contrary motion. So it kind of depends on what comes before and how we land here, right? So let's assume that we're going to have this A here. And let's work with that for now. If when we get there, we realize that we could land right on a B here, we might change it so that we just do one whole note. Now, other things to remember about the that second to last bar. You really want a leading tone in here. So a half step below tonic is our leading tone. If you're in a minor key, you want to raise that sucker. If we were in C minor, for example, we're in C major now, but if we were in C minor, this would be a B flat and this would be an A flat. So what we would do is we would raise those both to A natural and B natural. So we would kind of invoke the harmonic minor for these last two notes to just push us into tonic a little stronger. So in the second to last measure, we would raise those in a minor key. In a major key, we just leave them just as they are. So keep that in mind. We always want to raise our leading tone and our sixth when we're at the end of a counterpoint to help just push us back into the tonic when we're in a minor key. Okay, so those are our main things to remember about the beginning and the end. Let's do a quick review. Remember the beginning, we want an octave or a unison most of the time. In some exceptions, or in some cases, we can do a perfect fifth. We can start this on the downbeat or on the offbeat, and doing it on the offbeat is sometimes preferred. The end note is always a whole note, and it's got to be an octave or a unison. The penultimate bar, the second to last bar, could be a whole note or two half notes, depending on what works best, and needs to be a leading tone pushing into our tonic. And if it's minor, it should be raised to use the harmonic minor. Okay, so that gets us our three goofy bars. And one last thing to point out is that these three bars are the only three bars in second species counterpoint that can be anything other than two half notes. All of these bars have to have two half notes in them, right? And this one could have two half notes, and this one could have two half notes, but it doesn't have to, and this one doesn't have to. But all the rest of these bars do. So those three bars are the only exceptions. Everything else has to be two half notes.